Pick your ants, pack your cigarettes. It's our last date with Canadia. This one's a straight up banger. Creation, destruction, we're just too cute to eat. This is Not Top Scallop, episode 12, from Austin, Texas, and not afraid to be naked. I'm Johnny.
And I'm Christy from Baltimore, Maryland, and this is a conversation about Top Chef.
Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah, it is. Look, and, this is what, our 12th conversation?
Yep.
About Top Chef, and I have to say this is by far and away my favourite episode. This is the Canada that I wanted to see.
Yeah, why the fuck weren't we doing this the whole time? This was awesome.
The expansive views and experience of Canada, the tie-in, the deep tie-in with the indigenous foodways, all of it. And I get it, okay? We can't go to the mountains and have a big thing like this when there are 20 chefs. Because it's too big.
Sure.
You can't spend enough time on each thing to make it feel worthwhile. But fuck me, it could have been with 10. Like, so much of it in the studio. And
They just wasted so much time in the studio, in my opinion. I would have loved to have seen so much more of this.
Agreed.
I mean, this is the Canada that I wanted to learn about, getting to learn about the people and getting to learn about foraging for these foods. And, they were I don't want to jump too far ahead, but it was so cool that they were able to find so much in such a small space. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, I think this is like also kind of the ideal cast for the show as well. Like, they're all mates, they're all competitors, they're supportive, but they also they all have this like, I love you, but I also want to win. And it's a good balance.
I also loved the very beginning where they started in the stew after the last elimination. Bailey is clearly brokenhearted that Lana has gone home, and the guys just brought a tear to my eye. With
the support, like with the, hey, we can do girl talk, it's all right. It's not just all boys.
We can sing. I like to get my nails done. We can do spa days. I was so touched by that. I really loved seeing that. And these men have become some of my favorite contestants since the beginning.
Agreed. I fully agreed. They're all really...
Just since the beginning of Top Chef.
Yeah.
They're such cool characters. I've grown to love Massimo in a way that on day one, I was like, this fucking guy.
Fucking guy. Yeah.
I just really, I love this episode.
You think back to sort of the Voltaggios, the Isabellas, those guys who are just kind of like sneery, classic gross dude chefs. And then these guys who are all of a caliber, all of obviously a level of experience and capability, but they're all also really nice people. And that really brings something to the show. And I love that. But if there's anything I would say negative about this episode, it's fuck me, heavy on the BMW pump up.
Oh my God, these BMWs are so wonderful. I want one in every color. I guess
such a nice car. Except for Bailey, like when
when
it gets to her line, she's like, it does everything. I fucking hate you. Don't make me say it. I'm going to say it.
I really hope that they got paid extra for doing that shit. Like, if you're going to make me do a commercial, then I would like some money to do it.
Take a fee. Yes.
I mean,
yes.
I guess they needed something because there was no Whole Foods in this episode. They were out in the fucking woods, so there's not, you
can't pay for ants. You can't pay for ants with the Wells Fargo card.
Yeah, the forest isn't gonna, pay for you to plug the forest,
So we may as well just bam in a little bit of BMW in there, but look, I'll take it.
Yes.
I would fucking have one of those cars.
If I was rich, maybe, but, the upkeep on them is so fucking expensive. And honestly, people in BMWs where I live, there's a lot of aggressive drivers, but here in Baltimore, people who drive BMWs are the biggest fucking assholes on the road.
Yeah, sure. It's the BMW has this thing for the driver where it is the ultimate driving machine, and if you've purchased one, you feel that also applies to you as a person, and so you roll around like that. I had a BMW bike, and even that, it's like, yeah, BMW people are real douchey,
Yeah.
real douchey.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I look, the thing that's cool, that amazed me
I
is,
have to say though,
oh yeah,
except for my sister.
she's
Sorry.
got a Beamer.
When she
So yeah,
she bought herself one for her 50th birthday, which I'm super excited for and proud of her. But
fair.
yeah, I was like, do me a favor, at least use your fucking turn signal. You know?
Nice. But yeah, I think, when you look at it, even okay, we go into the woods. Sure, that's an outside shooting experience, which is going to be more expensive than doing it in the studio. Okay, fine. But when you really look at it, in this modern era, I would say all of the approach shots, so many of those shots were just drone shots.
100%.
Which is cheap. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not cheap, but it's cheap.
You don't have to pay for labor.
Right. And, I feel like we could have had this the whole season, but
Yeah.
we didn't. I'm taking it. I won't complain. Good episode. So, but let's
that
go.
They went to, gorgeous lake. I love that Kristen asks them if they are outdoorsy, and Massimo says he likes hiking with a pack of cigarettes.
That's fucking awesome. No, forget it. Actually, I don't like hiking. Just like the cigarettes. Oh, fair. Okay, Massimo, let's go.
Yeah, she asks Tristan if he's outdoorsy, and he says, I work really hard to have a roof over my head, so I want to stay under that roof.
Yeah, he's definitely got urban man princess vibes. Like they played it up too with
him painting his nails and stuff.
Him painting his own nails and doing all that. And he's like, I like shopping and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, let's go. And
Cool.
even Bailey's like, no, I live in the fucking city. I'm a Chicago girl. I live in the city and that's it. But contrast, you can see Cesar going, oh yeah, fucking around the woods, fuck
yes.
Yeah.
The picture of him with that giant hen of the woods mushroom, that was amazing. I would be like getting adrenaline from that too.
For sure. And Schwei, again, like, I don't know if Bailey wins the award for most growth or if Schwei wins it, because he sort of really obviously is now in his element, and he's got a barbecue restaurant, so it's not a big stretch to see him outside. Like, he's obviously loving outside cooking on the live fire, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, he used to cook out of a food trailer.
Right.
That was what he and his wife first did when they got to Charleston.
Right.
So
yeah. So what I like about this too is, okay, so given that, so we've got 2 chefs that are pretty comfy with the foraging. We've got 3 that haven't really done it. It's sort of outside their comfort zone. But unlike, I think, sometimes in other challenges where maybe they do something like this and it naturally disadvantages the people that aren't experts at foraging or whatever sort of skill that they pick. They have Tracy Little and the other lady whose name I can't remember.
Brenda Holder.
Brent, there you go. Shit, excellent. Yeah, they have those 2 guys out there, and they seem to be really into it as well. They're like really holding their hands and saying, this is this is that, go here. And that's cool. It means that no one got a disadvantage because they're not comfy.
Yes. Yeah, it was really cool how they showed them all, all the different foods that I wouldn't even look at and go, that's food. Like, I know that you can eat all parts of a dandelion. I know that juniper goes in gin.
Okay, so this is the interesting question. The next question was gonna be what's your vibe here? Are you a forager? Are you someone that would love to walk through an urban laneway and pick leaves and shit? Or are you like, nah, that's not my jam, I'll go to the shops?
So when I was a kid, we did a lot of camping and I loved camping. And then I married my husband and he's like, why would you pay to pretend to be homeless? So we don't camp. I was really inspired by this episode. I'm like, I wonder if I can like find a local foraging group that like I can learn from. The only problem for me with that is really, really cold and really, really hot. My body physically can't handle it.
You don't want to do it, yeah, right.
Because of the MS, I can't handle the extreme temperatures. So I have to be careful being outside. So
you could be more of a coordinator and just tell everyone what to do in a big sun hat.
Or, as long as it's like a cool day or,
Sure.
not too
Early
hot,
spring.
yeah, early spring and fall, I could definitely dig going out there.
Yeah, I love to forage actually. I haven't done it for a while. It's fucking crazy here in Texas that just the way the seasons work, that there isn't as much sort of wild foraging in and around Austin. But
Hmm.
when I lived in London, we would go and pick wild onions and like leaves and greens and stuff and fruits and some wild fruits and stuff a lot. And same in Sydney. When I used to live in this one spot that had it had a back lane and there was a macadamia tree in the
Cool.
laneway, and so you would go and just collect fucking macadamias and then have macadamias for the year.
There is a local fruit called the pawpaw um, that people come out to, in the summers here to forage for. I've tasted it once. It's almost custardy.
I have heard of this. I've never tasted it. Apparently, it's like an old classic American wild food that
Yeah.
was, the staple in the Dust Bowl kind of shit.
Yeah. I did not forage it. Someone else foraged it and
Sure.
gave me some.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's the move, is to eat the foraged dinner, to have it cooked for you, and
Right.
someone else can go and do the picking
Right.
of the ants.
Or I'll just go to the farmer's market where they've gone out and,
Roger. Pay an exorbitant price for it and say,
yes.
excellent, that is my that is my middle class privilege. Let's
Yes.
go.
100%.
Speaking of that, ants. How are you going with the ants? Are you into the ants? Are you not into the ants?
My only hang up is that they were eating them alive.
Mm,
Um,
it's
which
pretty weird.
I mean, I would probably try it. I don't have a problem with trying it. I've had grasshoppers in several different applications before, never had a problem with that. I do love that when they're like, oh, they have like a lemon zest flavor. Bailey's like, you know what else tastes like a lemon? A lemon.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
not into the
And
ants.
they don't
Not at
crawl in
all.
your mouth. So
Yep.
yeah, good point, Bailey. But yeah, I did think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had these ants. In Colombia, there was uh, this one restaurant, that was, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was fucking awesome in Bogota, and they did all sorts of Andean and Colombian indigenous foods in the same way, like done in a modern style of
Hmm.
cuisine, and they had these giant Andean ants that were maybe like half an inch long. And fuck me, they were so weird, but so tasty. The whole
Cool.
thing was just incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Uh,
had I had grasshopper tacos at Jose Andreas restaurant in
sure.
DC.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
I mean, it's Jose Andreas.
I mean, yes, exactly. He's a pretty cool dude, and
Yeah.
obviously shit's good.
Yeah.
And the rest of them too, like rose hips, thistles, dock, nettle, poplar buds, all of these things are actually, those things are things that we would get on the farm that I spent a lot of time in growing up, and so some of these I'm actually familiar with. Rose hips, they were like endemic. They were a noxious weed.
Hmm.
But man, yeah, you could make all sorts of fun stuff. We'd make ice cream and dessert, like jam and all sorts of stuff out of it. I
Cool.
love rose hips. Same with thistles and thistle roots and
See,
nettle
I
greens.
didn't know that thistle was edible, but then I thought about it, especially when they're actually started their cooking and they're cooking artichoke, which is a part of the thistle
Which is a
family.
thistle family. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you let artichoke bushes if you let the artichokes bloom, they just look like
The
gigantic thistle
the choke
flowers.
opens up and the
Yeah.
hair comes out into like a thistle. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
exactly.
beautiful.
Um, but and nettle too, like those things when you cook them right, which obviously these guys did, can be fantastic. So yeah, I was really excited for this. I love the other thing that's cool. This obviously not only is it your favorite episode, my favorite episode. It's obviously Tom's.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very
Like
happy.
he's gushing like he's a teenager. He's into it.
Yeah.
Although obviously not being naked and afraid. I feel like that should be a spin-off. I hope Food Network gives that to Schwei. I hope that he, whether he wins or not, I can see that, like, for sure. Top Chef outdoors, naked and afraid. Let's go.
Yeah. I don't need to see that. Also, cooking naked is kind of a dangerous. I mean, you should be afraid, you
It's
know?
one of those things. It sounds cool, like, let me whip you up a naked breakfast, baby, while we're just, we've in between bouts of steamy lovemaking, let me make you a bacon sandwich. But yeah, like, I'm not trying to do
You don't want
that
to be cooking
without.
bacon and having it
No,
pop
ma'am.
at you when you're
That's
naked.
it. No, ma'am. No, at all. But yeah, so obviously, look, at least Schwei and Cesar are really comfy in their elements.
Yeah.
It's no surprise. It's no surprise that Cesar loves the ants, and that. Same with Schwei. I think, like, I love, and we get it down the track, but I love that he's like, I tasted this and it reminded me of Szechuan pepper, and I tasted this and it gave me the hint of my stuff, and he's really leaned into the heritage food, that his heritage, that at one point in the competition earlier on, he's like, I wasn't cooking that food because it seems cheap and it seems like people don't, it doesn't seem impressive enough. And then obviously he's found a way to
But when you do it spectacularly,
right. Yeah.
You take something super simple and make it into something amazing. Plus, I think that it's kind of vogue to take the cheap cut of something and turn it into the new, popular food like pork belly and flank steak, and all of that has gone so expensive over the years because people are like, oh, this is the cheap cut.
This is the desirable cheap cut now.
Exactly. And the same with, all kinds of different, vegetables. I mean, kale had its heyday for the longest time. And
thank God that's subsided.
I mean, I love kale, but
me too.
I don't feel the need to put it on every single dish.
The obsession over it was really too much for me at one point. Bacon and kale. It's like, yeah, we get it. Fuck.
Yeah, the two of them together.
There is more to it than that, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sort of, again, I really like this. And, of the two guys that come out on top today, they are both, Tristan obviously came from the beginning doing this, and Schwei has sort of worked his way into it. But I think they both have that commonality. They both have the capacity to look at their history, not just culinarily, but like their overall history, the places they grew up in and their experiences of life, and to sort of turn that into the things that they're cooking. And
yeah, and because it's not just their, their actual history or the history of their people, but also bringing the culinary factor into it. I don't know, it's just so unique for each one,
Yeah, for sure. I think Tristan is he's kind of, he's got a real laid back, cool dude sort of, I'm just trying my hardest, and I'm, he doesn't shout, he doesn't vibe up hard, he doesn't, he's very level sort of dude. But I think what I really got from this one, and looking back on the rest of the episodes, he's got a real deep undercurrent of intensity. Like, with the whole Afro-Caribbean thing, I think it's more than just, this is my heritage. I think there's a certain kind of, I want to say fuck you to colonialism and to like the history, the not the history of oppression, but there's more to it than just, I want to reference my past, and I want to reference my cuisine. There's like, to me, when he says, I just want to go to Italy and cook Ethiopian food, to me, that is the biggest kind of fuck you, because there is that whole Ethiopia, Italy colonial thing, and the Italians are heaps racist apparently in Italy, and just going there and saying, I want to just dump this on their doorstep. I'm like, fuck yeah, go, bro,
yeah,
go.
I love it. Like, but I think that he's driven to sharing that history with the world,
to show that it's as good, like to show that it's on par with the classic French, Italian, European colonial techniques.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about the Taino people. I didn't know that there even was something called the Taino people in Jamaica. Similarly, there's so much American history that I didn't learn in school. I learned
Yeah.
it from my Black friends.
Sure.
I learned about, Black Wall Street, from my Black friends. I learned so much from them and from their families and from listening to their experiences. So I think that that's part of what drives Tristan is just showing the world that there's a whole other side to history that we don't know, and he's doing it through food, and
Yeah,
food
it's great.
is the universal thing that brings everyone together. We've all got to eat.
He said that. Yeah, yeah, right. And you're right, and it's beautiful because it makes what could be an uncomfortable conversation super accessible, right? If you know, I don't think
this is part of the reason why I loved watching No Reservations with Anthony Bourdain. He would go to these places where I probably never would find myself in ever, and then sitting down and having a meal with the most humble people, and these humble people sharing what little they had, just so that they could sit together and talk. And
yeah.
I loved that. So
Yeah, what are you guys having for lunch?
yeah,
Everyone has lunch everywhere around the world. So what are you guys having for lunch?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. But yeah, so it's funny because again, I feel like in this beginning, before we actually get to the cooking, before we actually get to the menu development, obviously I get the picture that Shuai really does go from taste this, okay, and from the beginning you can sort of see his mind ticking over. Same with Cesar, and he also really references his heritage too, which is really nice. Like going into the Al Pastor and the Cochinillo Pibil sort of vibe, which again we'll get to it, but fuck, that looks great too. I love that. I loved what he turned out. But and you could see Tristan kind of gets the things, but obviously it takes him a long time to really coalesce his narrative vision.
Well, him and Bailey walking through that food co-op, both of them were like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing right now. I'm just buying some food that hopefully will come together tomorrow.
Right. And Bailey sort of almost seems like she's dazed. Like they catch her staring out the window a couple times, and looks like she's on the verge of tears a lot, and like she's really different in this episode. But and she's definitely not into the ants, as you said.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was so funny. But I mean, but they go back to their hotel, have some wine, and they talk about how special the whole experience has been and how the time that they've spent on Top Chef has changed them for the better. And I really loved that.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it was really good. It is, though. It's that classic part of a competition like this of Top Chef where you can make a mistake and fuck up and go home, and obviously, but what's worse, imagine being in this spot, imagine being in the top 5 of something like this, and you're good, you've reached this point where you belong here, right? I'm sure all of these guys genuinely believe that they belong in the finals in Milan.
I mean, Tatiana felt that way back in episode 4 or 5 when she got
for sure
kicked off.
For sure. But at this point, even if you make a beautiful dish, even if you make something fucking amazing, which again, if you saw that trout dish on a menu, or if you saw that in front of you at a restaurant, you would not be saying, pack your knives and go, thanks. It's like you would be going, fuck, this is an amazing mustard sauced smoked trout.
Absolutely.
But that's not enough to get you through, which is great. The other thing I really
brushing some of those herbs off of that.
Again,
bannock.
we can go deep into that because I have a feeling, I have a way about how, like, this is pin in that. One of the things I really loved, and I feel like we didn't get it much the rest of the season, I love the Tom walkthrough. Again, I know with 20 it's different than it is with 5. But not only did we get Tom's walkthrough and conversation with them, after he did that, he gives us a little straight to the camera, hey guys, here's what I saw. Bailey's doing this, Tristan's doing that, and I'm like, fuck, where more of that, please?
Right. I mean,
more...
the Tom walkthrough used to be like when he would go, why are you doing that? Why are you doing it that way? And you could see the chefs going, oh, fuck.
Fuck.
I've made a mistake. It's too late to turn back, that kind of thing. So yeah, I have missed the Tom walkthrough, especially with how delighted he gets talking to some of these chefs.
Yeah, Tom Colicchio, when he's got a smile on his face, is so engaging.
Yeah.
Grumpy Tom Colicchio, it's kind of like watching your mate and his girlfriend have an argument in the back of a car, and you're like, I don't want to be here.
For me, it's more, the whole dad, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed kind of bullshit.
Sure, yeah, right, yeah. I still love you, but you're trying my patience, you little bastards. Yes.
Yeah. But when they leave the hotel the next morning for the cook, I love that Tristan is like, woke up at 3 a.m. because I had an idea. You know, I love that because that's how my fucking brain does that shit to me all the time. Wakes me up in the middle of the night and like idea, and then I can't fucking sleep.
Here's the creative solution you've been waiting for. We'll see you again at 10 a.m. when you'll be tired and ragged and won't be able to implement it because you haven't slept since.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. But, right. So, of all of the sort of foraging moments, was there anything that you were like, fuck, I would love to get in that?
Just all of it, really, just the whole experience of not only foraging and learning about the land and the food, but also talking to those women. I would have found that super inspiring.
Can you imagine what that would have been like? I mean, it's 15 minutes or 10 minutes of the show, right? But it was probably half a fucking day.
They introduce Brenda as the Cree knowledge keeper. I mean, she's got to be fucking amazing. Just spending 2 hours with her wouldn't be enough, because she has so much knowledge over so many things. I think she's probably a super cool woman, and she seemed so down to earth and
right. Connected to everything and nice and good. Yeah. And the other chick, Tracy,
very Canadian.
Very Canadian, in a good way. The other chick, what was her name? Tracy Little? Mate, I'm probably not going to rush off to Alberta. I'll have to be honest with you. But if I was rushing off to Alberta, it would be to go to her fucking restaurant.
If I ever find myself in Calgary, that's where I'm going.
Yeah. Like, just her whole vibe.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Like, damn, you're doing the things that, like, that's excellent. And the restaurant
menus based on the foraging. That's so cool.
And I had a quick look at the actual restaurant that she has. Looks fucking amazing. So yeah, definitely. Probably won't ever go there, but if I do, it'll be exciting. Yeah. What are you drinking?
A shandy. It's a lovely day for it.
Oh, mate. Nothing like a lager top or a shandy, a radler, as they say.
Yes.
Very refreshing. I am smashing a official order of Top Chef Saratoga Springs in the glass bottle. I managed to find it my wife managed to find it in the glass bottle.
It's very pretty.
So it is actually genuinely one of my favorite mineral waters.
That's awesome.
Yeah, cool. Well, like I say, I mean, for me, I fully agree with you. I think, imagine just that opportunity to sit there with those two people and have them take you through their favorite spots in the forest to say this, try this. What about this? This is a thing. And then you can use the leaves and the roots and this is from this. And
almost all of it is something that I would have walked right past and gone, that's a plant. I wouldn't have walked past it and gone, oh, well, you can eat these berries or you can use this for smoking. And if you don't have rosemary, you can use this. And that's so cool.
Yep.
So cool.
For sure. for sure. Well,
Uh, Going back to Tom having his
yeah.
chats with them, when Tristan told him that he had a hard time relating to Black people in the mountains,
Yeah.
Tom's belly laugh was just,
Yeah.
I loved it. It was so great. It was nice to see them doing that again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. It's cool. It was definitely cool.
I wanted to see him and Massimo go fishing later.
I know, right? I mean, that would have been sick if they. That's a missed opportunity, right?
Hell
That they
yeah.
didn't just put a fucking couple poles in their hand and say, listen, you don't actually have to do it. Just go down there and swing a couple poles in the river. We'll get 30 seconds of B-roll and then that'll be the closeout of the show.
You want B-roll of Tom and Massimo swinging their poles around?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
couldn't help myself.
Nah. I did leave that one on the table. So, yeah. All right. Well, I guess, let's dive into the actual,
The food.
the food, the cooking, the whole thing. I have it here in the order that it came out. And I loved, like you said, I love when he like connects the Taino people in Jamaica with the Canadian mountains, and that's his like, bam, that's all I need. And
He said all along that he needs a connection. He's cooking from a story that he's,
right, I love that. And this episode really brought it home for me. There really was nothing in the way of him doing this dish without that connection. You know what I mean? He could have just gone, okay, cool, yeah, I guess I can just do a pork dish with this, and this. But I think that's really been his strong point the whole way through, is his capacity to do that, to connect what he's doing with a story, to connect the narrative into the food that he's cooking.
That's how he becomes passionate about the food, is being connected to it. Whereas Massimo is like, I'm going to cook trout with potatoes and a mustard sauce, a mustard green sauce. Yeah, anybody can do that. Tristan only finds the passion for the ingredients when he's able to connect it to himself in a way.
Yep. And that obviously is a very strong point. It also, and it almost could have been a weakness. Like if he hadn't have had his 3 a.m. wake up call, this may have been Tristan going home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I hope that he can do the same thing in Italy. But the other thing, okay, he's a city kid. He loves getting his nails done and he loves shopping, but he grabs the charcoal from the supermarket because he knows that he might be needing it, something different from the live wood. He's obviously smart on the fire, right? He's a city kid, but he's not dumb.
Which I saw him putting the charcoal on. I'm like, why is he buying charcoal?
Charcoal? I know, I did too.
And then I'm like, why are you wasting part of your budget on that? But when he got there and he started making his fire and explaining why he was doing what he was doing, I was like, oh, okay, that makes all the sense in the world.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Really, really exactly. But that again, he's obviously smart. Jerk pork, yes, please. Plantain miso glaze, yes, please.
Sounds great.
Fucking A. The callaloo, regular callaloo, just plain old Jamaican or Trinidadian, whatever, like Caribbean callaloo. We would get that in England quite a bit.
I've never had it.
It's cooked great. It's like there's a whole bunch of different versions of that dish from all around the world. It's like cooked greens with coconut milk, or cooked greens with a sort of stewed out greens. But to do it with the parsnip milk, that was really clever. Cool. Yeah, like, this, if you had just put this dish down, jerk pork, plantain miso, regular callaloo, and fire roasted root veggies. Fuck, man, without the foraged ingredients, this would have been a killer thing to eat.
Yeah, it still would have been
anyway.
great.
Yeah, but cooked on the live fire, done with the things. Um, it really brought, yeah, he really brought it all together into. I can't remember what the knowledge keeper Cree lady said something exactly, but it was something like it really was, or maybe it was the other girl. One of them said it really was the ultimate fusion of
Yes.
those ingredients and
I think it was
this dish.
Tracy Little who
It was
said
her, right,
that.
right. Yeah,
But when he first got to the table and everybody was being served the dish, and he talked about it, and how he used each ingredient to stand in for things like cinnamon and thyme and coconut milk. As he walked away, did you catch Kristen said, I could listen to him talk about
yeah,
food all day.
yeah. Well,
I
again,
loved that.
that is, and you can't, as much as we eat with our face holes, including our eyes, you know, hearing that narrative before you eat changes what you're eating.
Yeah.
Like seeing what you have on, like reading the menu preps you for the food you get. And obviously we're not reading a menu, so this is an even more detailed equivalent. I think you're right. I think having that storytelling capacity allows him to kind of amp up.
That's bigger than reading it on a menu.
Yeah.
It's seeing how passionate the chef is about what they've created and why they've created it. I really love it. And then a little bit later, Tom says, this is Tristan doing what he does best, finding the ingredients that are foraged that you're not familiar with, but spending time with them and then relating them to something that you know. And that he put it very succinctly when he said that.
Yep. Yep. So, I think you got to hand it to him. He hasn't really. I mean, this is the time to be doing it right, and he's obviously getting it right. So, yep, he obviously deserves his spot in the finals. It's interesting. You think about this, you hear this dish, and you think this is going to fucking win for sure. Like, how are you going to top this? And then we have our dear Bailey with the lamb spiedinos. I love the little skewers. I love little skewers. Like the herbalist lady said, put meat on a stick. I'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
it looked good.
Yeah.
If the cowpeas had not been al dente, it might have been great.
She fucked around so much with that lamb. Like she really, really dialed it in.
Yeah,
In the moment.
It was cool
Like,
to see her do all of those testers and make sure that she was getting it right before she was like, okay, now I'm going to put all of them on the grill.
and again, I'm not sure who said it in the judging area, but like that she really almost was the most inventive of all of these dishes. She turned around and did something totally
completely out of her wheelhouse, except for the fact that she called it a spadino, and you could have just said skewered meat.
Sure. Yeah. It's very Italian, very Italian. But I love dandelion greens. Again, if she gets them right, they can be really bitter and disgusting, stringent and unpleasant, but she obviously got it right. I'm sad, the cowpeas. Like, I think you're right. Okay, so obviously Tom's like, I don't know about the poplar and the roasted garlic, and I feel that. Like that kind of piney bitterness with the sort of sweet
But he couldn't stop eating it.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know if I like it, but I keep going back to it.
And if the beans had been right, then it would have been, I think she might have not been on the bottom there. But also I noticed she starts off with the beans on the fire and then she puts it on the electric thing. And at one point she's just got a what do you call a cartouche? Like she's just got a paper thing over the top of it. Babe,
I didn't notice
put
that.
Put the fucking lid on.
Yeah,
if you want the beans to cook, put the fucking lid on. Like,
yeah, you got to keep that heat in there.
Realistically, if she'd have put again, this is me telling you what should have happened, could have happened, bullshit, who cares? But just looking at that, I noticed it, and I'm thinking if she'd had that heavy cast iron lid on top of that beans, it might have cooked quicker.
It might have, but having 2.5 hours start to finish, including time to build your fire and including time to plate, it's going to be hard to get dried beans done in that time period.
For sure. Yeah. But what's your choice? Are you gonna use canned beans, canned peas?
No,
Nope.
not on Top Chef.
Not on
They will
Top
give you
Chef.
so much shit for that. Yeah, I probably would have come up with something different. But you know, she just about pulled it off.
The thing like this is also in a way. I used to work at this one restaurant, it's an Italian restaurant, and they did a pork spiedina with the spiedino, yeah,
Spiedino.
yeah, with a white bean and anchovy puree, and that was fucking killer.
That sounds
And I wondered,
interesting.
yeah, like, and this kind of reminded me of that, but obviously with the foraging. So again, she pushed herself hard, and good on her. Who came next? Shuai?
Well, we skipped Cesar.
I skipped Cesar, didn't I?
Yes,
Okay, what an
yes,
idiot.
with
Sorry.
his mushroom trompo, with a mushroom pibil broth and toasted ants.
Creation, destruction. He's all like, he loves the plating. And I think this is the nicest look. Like, it's the coolest looking one.
Yeah, it's neat.
With the fucking skewer, like with the wild bit of tree coming off of it.
This whole time I'm thinking Anya must be so fucking jealous and pissed that she didn't get to do this challenge.
Mate, when are you going to use your fucking pine cone? This would have been perfect to bang in. Oh, I got some edible pine cones of my own. Okay. But, yeah. Wow, Anya. Hello. I'd forgotten about her.
Yeah. So, yeah. His pibil al pastor pineapple mushroom dish, it looked fantastic.
Yeah.
I love cochinita pibil. I love al pastor. I love tacos. I love pineapple. The whole thing just sounded so good.
Fully agree. I think any other day this would have been a hands down winner. And they said it. They're like, there's nothing wrong with this. He's in the middle. He's safe. On any other day, he could have won. It's a great dish, but just Shuai and Tristan both just really tapped it way over the fence.
Yeah.
And that's cool. But he obviously had a good time, and he's obviously stoked. He's like, oh, I can't wait to tell my mom. That's so cool. Like,
yes.
Yeah, he's such a cutie. He's such a cool dude. And I'm stoked that he is going through.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
I feel like he deserves it. I want to see him go to Italy. It's great. I would eat this. I would order it on a menu. All of these things, actually, I would order on a menu.
Yeah.
If I saw them. I also fucking love cabbage. I really love cabbage. And I really, really fucking love grilled cabbage. I love doing that. I love cooking it on the fire, charring it up, and doing exactly what he did. When he was talking about it, he's like, I'm going to char the cabbage. He's like, you can't just char the cabbage because then it goes dry and brittle. I'm like, babe, it's like you're talking to my heart. I know exactly, like, because the first few times I ever did, I was like, why don't I just grill a cabbage? It's like, this is all dry and shit now.
Yeah.
And you have to do that. You just have to, like, give it, like, a real light braise, and then the whole thing just turns into a soft, sort of caramelized, beautiful thing.
That's what you love about cabbage.
Oh,
it's so good.
Yeah. It is also his second cabbage dish in a row.
Is that, what did he make last
week? He made us the thing, the
cabbage roll.
Was a cabbage roll.
Yeah, that occurred to me as well. Very, very different dish.
Different cabbage dish for sure. So you're not like, no, bro, it's the second time you cook cabbage. Yeah.
And a different kind of cabbage too. I want to say last time it wasn't Napa cabbage. It was something else. But this time it looked like it was just a regular green cabbage.
Just a straight up classic round green cabbage.
Yes,
for sure. Which is the one to use for that, I think.
Yes. I actually have like 3/4 of a cabbage left. I made coleslaw yesterday to go with some pulled pork.
Nice. Yeah, classic. Absolutely classic. But what a banger. Like that Chinese medicinal broth type base combined with like the sour vinegary sauce. I can almost taste it. Like it, little sweetness, little sourness. Yeah.
I love a good broth. At the beginning of my marriage, Caleb was like, you're a really good cook, blah blah blah. He's like, your soups are not great. I was like, okay, challenge accepted.
Hmm?
And now I love creating a soup broth from scratch, just layering the flavors, really, really taking my time with it. I think I might have told you that when I make ramen, I have like the mother in my freezer
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
of the
yeah.
broth.
Same,
It's
same,
different
yeah.
every single time, but I
Yep.
always take that
Add some,
mother
take
out
some. Yep.
and add different things to it. So every
Yep.
single time it's just different, and I love that.
So you've been on a soup quest.
I've been on a soup quest for over 20 years now.
Fuck, a
Mm,
20-year soup quest.
I mean,
Wow.
my soups are pretty fucking on point now. He loves my
I
soups
mean,
now.
yeah,
It didn't
that's
take 20
awesome.
years to get there. But yeah, I really love to make soup.
Yeah, I kind of do too, in the same way, because especially when it's something like this kind of thing, where this isn't just a soup. I'm not just talking like, yeah, like tomato soup or cream of mushroom where you roast a few
With
mushrooms
this
and put it in the
special
blender. Yeah,
broth.
like something like this where it's like, this isn't a soup per se. This is a vehicle to give you something.
Yes.
And it is. And I love, and he is obviously stoked when the Cree lady says, what's it, Brenda is her name, you said?
Brenda, yes.
When she's like, I could taste the medicine, I could feel the medicine, and he's like, yep, that's the whole
And he's
fucking
like, I
point.
could taste the forest.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
when she says that she could taste the forest, that's actually what really brought my brain to Anya, because she was all about
Sure,
tasting
because
the
she's like, you can
forest.
taste the forest. Yeah, yeah. Also, this is the one that like it seems simple. It's like a grilled cabbage, but obviously it's kind of shit that when you get this kind of thing right, fuck, it's the thing that delivers so hard, and
Yeah.
you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Tom Colicchio is like, this made me want to get up and get into the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like he's jealous that he didn't create this. That's high fucking praise from Tom Colicchio.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what does he say? When Tristan's dish came out, I ate it and I was like, nothing can be better than this. And Schwei's changed my mind. Schwei's dish to me was just really special.
Yeah.
So,
It
yeah.
seems like all of the judges are all getting something genuinely new out
Yeah.
of this. Like Kristen says, she's like, this is not like anything I've ever, eaten or cooked. I'm fucking go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's golden. So again, I'm not surprised that he won with this. I think he's obviously found himself. He's found his place. He's found the foundation of things that he does well and can riff on.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Well, and the Gail said something too that I really thought was great. She was like, he went into the woods to forage, and this is what came out of that. Like this really special, beautiful, humble dish that just knocked their fucking socks off.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we have Massimo.
Dear Massimo.
I fucking
Again,
love him.
yeah, look, I remember when we first were introduced to this guy and you're like, is this the loudmouth? Is this the Isabella character? Is this the villain? Are we going to fucking end up hating this guy because he's rude? Because he's like, I don't care. I just want to win. I'm the chef and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, actually he's a yogi. He's a sweet man. He's a divorced dad. He's like, he's a good dude and he's funny and fun and yeah. And he's obviously a very, very, very good classically trained chef.
Yes.
Like,
yes. 100%.
This, as you say, smoked trout with mustard sauce. That's very, very simple, very classic, very familiar. To do it with all of the wild ingredients to find the mustard and smoke it on the juniper. If he'd done that in, like, again, at any point earlier in the competition, at a restaurant, this would be killer. This would be a winning fucking thing. I would love to eat this.
We all know what mustard tastes like. It just, when compared to all of the other dishes, it wasn't as far out there. But the way he introduced it to them was certainly.
It's such a, yeah. The thing, I think what fucked him though, like more than the mustard being familiar, it was the weird rock bread.
Yeah. I
Like,
that extra half an hour that he had fucked him.
agreed.
Because he
Yep.
said, because I have this extra time, I can make this bannock cracker. And sometimes having that quote unquote advantage is really a disadvantage for some of the chefs from time to time.
If it means you do too much.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And I wonder if I wonder if there were two things that I thought about. I wonder if you'd put just a sprinkling of herbs in the dough, you know, and then cooked it, and then just been, here's a cracker to soak up the rest of the gear, put
I
put
would
your trout
kind
on
of
it, whatever.
think, I would kind of think that, and I'm obviously not in this crazy man's head, but I would think that the thinking from his side would be that doesn't look special. Like he's so classically trained in French cuisine that it would be, that doesn't look like
You can't just
any
dump a bread on there.
exactly. Um, but it would have tasted special. I mean, Schwei's cabbage didn't look like anything except a hunk of cabbage in a broth, but it tasted so special. And that's, I think that that's where the disconnect would have been.
Agreed. Fully agreed. And if this was like, if this was a restaurant dish, it could, with a few little, maybe, some tweaks, this could be one of those things that you go to the restaurant to have.
Yes.
Like
But
the
also,
grilled
if it was a restaurant dish, he would have made it over and over and over and over until he perfected it.
find out the herbs are better separate as a salsa, and the blah 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 blah. But yeah, and in the end, I feel like those two, and I can see I can imagine it in my head, sort of having this trout and going, cool, and then what do I do with this herby bread, because it's stacked with the stuff I can't really in there, and then you taste the bread by itself, and it would have that real sort of oily aromatics from the wildflowers, and be a lot, maybe just blast you out a little bit.
Yeah, like herbaceous notes and floral notes are beautiful, but that was a lot.
I think so, yeah. But yeah, I feel so sad for him, because again, surprisingly, if you take it from the beginning of the season, he's done really good. He cooked really well consistently throughout the show.
Yes.
And I'm so sad for him that he doesn't get the chance to go to Italy and fuck with the Italian food in Italy. But that's Top Chef.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way it goes. I mean, obviously, he's still going to go to Italy, most likely end up being a sous chef.
Right. If they don't take him to Italy to put him there as a helper, then that's cruel as fuck.
That kind of got me thinking. I am concerned for Bailey if she gets to choose her sous. If she chooses Lana, I think that's a mistake.
Agreed. Fully agree. I fully agree with you. Yep. No, and I can see that coming.
I can see Massimo being a great advantage to her, since they both know Italian food so well.
True.
But I wonder if their personalities would click well enough.
Would she choose Massimo? Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah, she'll choose Lana if she can.
Or Paula.
Yeah, which
would be bad. Yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe not. Maybe Paula would be a good sous chef.
She's Appalachian Ecuadorian. How are you going to relate that to Italian?
I mean, also, are we sure this is the one thing that's really interesting for me is right from the beginning, you've had Bailey, and you've had, or as soon as we knew that it was Milan anyway, you've had Bailey, Massimo, and maybe Vinny, definitely Lana. They're all going, I want to go to Italy. I want to cook Italian food. And it's like, are you sure you're going to be cooking Italian food in Italy just because you're in Italy? I would be cautious about sort of preloading yourself too much that you're going to be cooking Italian food. Unless you get to the final, of course, where it's a cook whatever you want.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I don't know if you watched the, Next Time on Top Chef.
I did, yeah.
I mean, they're going to be working with Olympians. So those are people from all over the world, not necessarily Italian people. They've brought at least one of the guys from World All Stars.
Yep.
The dude from Syria.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
good looking young guy from
he's handsome,
very handsome.
and he could cook, you know. But yeah, it's I that's a good point. I wonder if it will be straight up Italian food or if it will be something more global.
Who knows? Who knows? We'll have to wait on that one. But yeah, I mean, look, for me, it's obviously it's no surprise that Try and Tristan on the top. They were the ones that, from at least from when Tristan got his idea, it seemed like they were the most let's go forward confidently. Cesar probably a close second, so I'm not surprised that he made it.
And the
I'm
three
not
of them
surprised
all
that
cook their food, not necessarily Italian food.
right, right. I mean, I am genuinely stoked to see if Tristan does pony up with the I'm gonna go there and fucking cook Afro Caribbean food and fuck
Yeah.
you all. Like that's cool.
I'm putting money on the fact that he will absolutely do that.
Uh, I'm wasn't surprised in the end that Bailey ends up on the bottom, just because she seemed to be the most confused in herself cooking this challenge.
I was
Like she
very
was
worried
really
for
winging it.
Tristan the whole time. And like until they got into the car and he said I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I had an epiphany. Up until that minute, I was very, very concerned that Tristan wasn't gonna do as well as he did.
Right, he wasn't going to find his magic sauce, but he did. Um, I'm genuinely sad for Massimo. This is probably the most genuinely emotional elimination
Well, I teared
moment.
up.
Yeah,
I
I'm not
mean,
crying. You're
I
crying.
think that for me, the more genuinely emotional elimination moment was when Tristan told the judges that his dad died.
Sure.
Sorry, I shouldn't that shouldn't make me laugh, but yes, Massimo, when
Yeah,
when he said
excluding
that
external
hurts,
tragedies.
yeah, when he said that hurts, and Kristen was choked up, and she said it really hurt me to say it.
Now, there was one season, I can't remember which, was it the All Stars season? There might have been more than one season where they're like, psych, we're taking all of you.
Yeah, that has happened, I think. Sometimes they're like, we just can't decide.
We're
So
not
all
doing,
of
yeah.
you are,
And
yeah.
do you wonder if maybe that was put
I
up?
think
I
that
get
was
the
when they
picture that
went to Italy the last time.
was it.
Was it? I think Blaze was in that
It was, yeah. It
season.
was the All Star. It was the All Stars. It was the All Stars with Blaze. Yeah, you're right. Um, but I wonder if maybe I get the vibe that maybe even they tossed up that idea. They're like, "Can we just take them all?" And maybe the producers are like, "No, we spent all our money on this one. We spent all our money on this, so we can't."
Yeah.
We, but yeah, and genuinely, probably the best conceding moment for a chef. The way that Massimo handled it and was light and fun was like, "Hey, Gail, don't make me cry." It was like,
I think that he was doing it as much to keep himself from crying,
for sure, for sure,
as his humor is masking.
very much. Yeah,
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 yeah, it's
yeah.
definitely a mask to the sensitive man that really lies within that very loud exterior.
I think one thing I wrote down as well is I love Kristen Kish's willingness to be emotional. Like she's more than happy to be that way, whereas I feel like Padma was not.
I was
Like
going to say the
Padma had
same
this
thing.
like stone face, like, I'm sorry, it's you.
Yeah, there were a couple of times where Padma got emotional about kicking someone out, especially I think whenever she had to tell Fatima to go, because she had that special connection to Fatima. But yeah, I was going to say the same thing about Kristen. She has genuinely gotten to know these chefs. She said she looked forward to seeing Massimo every morning. Um, I mean, Tom called him over the table,
For hugs,
I
yeah.
know. I've never seen Tom do that, but like he'll shake people's hands and stuff. But when
If they come
yeah,
up, but I don't. Yeah, Tom has
yeah,
definitely never said, "Get over here, you big lug."
yeah, yeah. It was really, really special. I really liked Padma. There were times where I'm like, why are you fucking being such a bitch to this guy? Like, I'm rewatching season 15 right now, and she just keeps getting on Bruce. Really? Gnocchi again, And I'm like, what the fuck? He cooks Italian food. Are you gonna ask the Mexican guy why he's making tacos again? What the fuck? So it just really, sometimes she can be real bitchy to the contestants. I understand, she had done it for 19 years. That's a long time to do any one job. Cool. I love Kristen doing this. I think that she brings heart to it in a way that Padma never did.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, 100%. You feel like Padma was the quintessential game show host in that way. Like she was not, she kept a barrier between herself and the contestants that was very, very clear. I feel Kristen Kish, on the other hand, probably because of her experience on the show.
Yeah, she's literally been where they are.
Right. And that gives her an insight and a familiarity that is awesome. And I think, yeah, like you say, it brings a whole different flavor to the thing.
I feel like she gets a little mama bear about them.
Kish? Yeah.
Kish takes on a mama bear attitude with the chefs.
Mama bear, mama stick insect.
Skinny bear, very skinny bear.
Yeah, very skinny bear. But yeah, it's cool. And I think you definitely she is now, I think this season, she's not a junior on the show. She is of equal power, equal weight, equal seniority.
Last season she was still trying to, she was feeling her way.
Yeah, she had the training wheels on.
Yeah, but this season she's doing it.
Yeah, I really loved it. So yeah, I enjoyed every moment of this episode. Except maybe for seeing Massimo go home, but even then, it's Top Chef, so I enjoyed that too. Like, someone's got to go. It's fine.
I just love that the last time that he really made me belly laugh was, a Buddhist monk in saffron robes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, where the fuck is he going with this? And then he pulls out David Bowie. So we had 2 David Bowie references in this episode.
Oh fuck yeah! I forgot about that. Yeah, the little shot of Lana in a rave bikini, or in a rave. It's Lana. The shot of Bailey.
She was adorable.
Definitely would have tried to pick her up at a rave for sure. I didn't know. I didn't catch that it was 2 separate Bowie references. You're right.
2 Bowie references in one episode of Top Chef. Didn't ever expect that.
Well, here we are, mate. We're at the sharp end. This is it. We're leaving Canada. If there's anything I'm disappointed in, it's I didn't get any fucking Canada until now.
Yeah, we didn't get nearly enough Canada. That's for sure.
Please, Magic Elves, don't do this again. Can we have it in America, please? Can we have it in a city that's interesting, please?
Yeah. Or if you're going to try to do a whole fucking country again, travel around that country.
Yeah, get in those BMW X3s and fucking have a look.
I mean, maybe it would be like a Top Chef Road Rules situation.
Or you could just choose a smaller country.
Yeah, that's true, Or,
Top Chef Island. Yeah.
Put them in an RV and send them off.
But, so I'm amped for it. There's 2 more. Is it 2 more episodes left? 1 more?
Yes, 2 more.
2 more. Yeah, so we got the pre-final and then the final.
Final.
Milan, fucking amazing. I've been there. It's not everybody's first choice tourist town in Italy. But that the Duomo Cathedral and the Piazza del Duomo, amazing place.
Awesome.
Amazing place. Yeah. And obviously they are going for the tie-in, the Olympic Games tie-in. That's why they're going to Milan, because the Winter Games is in Milan and they're doing the thing with the Olympians and it's the whole NBC tie-up.
It's because it's NBC, but they've done the Olympic tie-in at least once before when they went
Same reason, probably.
It was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think when they went to Paris. Maybe it was I don't know. They tie in the Olympics
whenever it's necessary. Whenever NBC is playing it, I suppose.
Every 2 fucking years. NBC, if you're going to do this every 2 years, it's going to get real old real quick. There are those of us who don't give a fuck about the Olympics.
Or could we have a Top Chef Winter Games challenge where the whole thing is those stupid elimination challenges from Top Chef Texas where they make them all cross-country ski and then chip shit out of ice and then cook it in a fucking
that was
gondola.
Olympics too.
Yep. In Canada. In Whistler, I think.
Okay, enough with the Olympics.
Yeah, we don't need it, even though it's Italian. And you're not doing yourselves any favours because no one who's watching Top Chef is going, oh, I wasn't going to watch the Olympics, but now that you've told me about it, I am.
You either are someone who watches the Olympics or you are not.
Right. And no Top Chef finale is going to switch that for you.
Yeah, you're never going to change my mind, NBC. Never. Not about this. So.
Well, I'm genuinely excited for this, though. I think, you know...
Yeah, I am too.
I'm a bit sad that this season hasn't really ramped up until the end, but...
Yeah, it was such a waste of time.
If we've been in a holding pattern to get here, we've been in a holding pattern to get here, you know? And in the end, I love Top Chef. I love this show, and you're finally coming through at the end for me. So
yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I'm keen to get to Italy. I'm sad we're leaving Canada on such a high note. I wish we could have had more of it, but again,
100%.
Here we are.
Yep.
So
well,
that's about all I have for it.
Hands up, time's up, utensils down.
That is it. All right. Well, scallops. That's it. See you in Italy. Yeah. Bye, scallops.
Bye, scallops.